My name is Tom. I'm the Deputy Director of Academic Centres at the University of Cambridge's Institute of Continuing Education, and I'm the Academic Director for the Biological and Health-Related Sciences. Thank you for joining me on the first of two bite-sized videos in which I will give you an insight into two of the areas of study that we offer at the Institute: the study of infectious diseases and the study of immunology. At the end of 2019, even during the first couple of months of 2020, the term pandemic was generally met with confusion and uncertainty. What did this term mean? How was a pandemic different to an epidemic? Was it something that only happened with influenza? Was it something to be fearful of? Now, as we move through the second half of 2020, we are all, unfortunately and uncomfortably familiar with the word pandemic. As we wrestle with the global and tragic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic caused by the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2, we may see changes to our lives we would never have predicted. Many of us are experiencing firsthand the tragic impact of this disease, and we've become all too aware of what the term pandemic means. How a pandemic actually refers to an infectious disease that is simultaneously affecting large numbers of the population over a geographically wide area. And in the case of COVID-19, this is worldwide. But pandemics are not new, and this pandemic will not be the last that we see. History shares with us the highlights of the difficult relationship between infectious diseases and the human race. A relationship that is being put under increasing strain as the global population expands and humans come into more regular contact with new and unknown viruses, bacteria, and also parasites. A quick look back in time reveals that pandemics have been a constant shadow through human history. The first recorded pandemic is from around 430 BC, believed to be typhoid fever, the result of an infection with a bacteria known as Salmonella. This pandemic played an important role in the defeat of the Athenians by the Spartans. Over the next 1,000 years, the historical record reveals the first likely smallpox pandemic and the appearance of bubonic plague caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis. Now, these two pandemics had profound impacts on the Roman Empire and are estimated to have caused 5 million and almost 50 million deaths, respectively. The impact of bubonic plague, however, was most notable during the Middle Ages, and between 1347 and 1350, around 200 million people in Europe, about a third of the population at the time, died from this disease, and this was known as the Black Death. Even to present day, this remains the most deadly pandemic in history. Now, Yersinia pestis is a natural pathogen of some mammals, including rodents, and it's found in the fleas that these animals carry. When they're in close proximity to humans, the fleas can hop across, bite the human, and at the same time inject some of the Yersinia pestis bacteria into the human's bloodstream. Now, Yersinia pestis is highly infectious, and just a single bacteria can be enough to cause disease. The symptoms of plague are not pleasant. They include fever, exhaustion, large swollen and black lymph nodes, and in between half and 3/4 of untreated cases, it will result in death. If the bacteria successfully spread through the bloodstream, this can cause what is known as septicemic plague. And if they reach and replicate in the lungs, that's what we call pneumonic plague. Both of these forms are much more dangerous. Pneumonic plague can spread person to person, and both of them are 100% fatal unless treated rapidly with antibiotics. And even then, nearly half of affected individuals still die. Whilst the global threat from plague is actually reducing, this is not the case for another bacterial pathogen, Vibrio cholera. Now, as the name suggests, this pathogen causes the disease cholera. From the early 19th century to the present day, multiple cholera pandemics have been observed. The disease itself is an acute diarrheal infection and results in severe dehydration. The latest figures from the World Health Organization indicate that up to 4 million people each year are infected with cholera, and nearly 150,000 of these will die. Presently, cholera is mainly a problem in countries that have limited availability of supplies of clean water. However, back in 1854, the British doctor John Snow isolated the source of a cholera outbreak in London to a particular water pump in a location on a street known as Broad Street. Shutting down the pump stopped the cholera pandemic, and it stopped the spread of infection. And many scientists view John Snow's discovery as the first step in creating the field of epidemiology for the study of public health. Now, the symptoms of cholera are mainly the result of a bacterial toxin that disrupts signaling in the cells in the intestines and stops them working properly. And although readily treatable with rehydration salts, these are not always available in the countries most badly affected by the disease. As we know from our current situation and our current experiences, not all pandemics are caused by bacteria. In the second video, I will briefly introduce 4 viral pandemics which have been particularly influential during the course of the 20th and the 21st centuries. In the meantime, if you are interested in finding out more about our courses, please visit our website. And in 2020 and 2021, we are offering undergraduate certificates in both infectious diseases and immunology. These part-time courses will be delivered at the level of first-year undergraduate study and will be taught through remote teaching means. This means that they're accessible to anyone in the world. Other options in the life sciences also include a certificate in genetics and a diploma in evolutionary biology.